Stop everything right now. If you have a 5-cent coin, don't spend it until you hear this. Some U.S. 5-cent coins, especially rare Buffalo nickels and Jefferson nickels with mint errors, can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more to collectors today. Certain dates, mint marks, double dies, and off-metal strikes turn an ordinary nickel into a hidden treasure. Coins like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or rare wartime silver nickels are among the most valuable 5-cent coins ever made in the United States. Before you use any old nickel, check the year, mint mark, and condition, because that simple 5-cent coin in your pocket could be a life-changing collectible. Stop and listen carefully, because if you have a 1964 5-cent coin from the United States, you may be holding a piece of American history that millions of people overlook every single day. The 1964 Jefferson nickel is one of the most searched and collected 5-cent coins in U.S. numismatics, and today we're going to break down everything you need to know about this iconic coin, including its history, design, minting details, errors, varieties, condition value, and why collectors are still actively hunting for high-grade examples and rare error strikes. The 5-cent coin, commonly known as a Jefferson nickel, has been part of U.S. coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. By 1964, the Jefferson nickel had already become one of the most familiar coins in circulation across America. The year 1964 is especially important in U.S. coin history because it marked the final year before major changes in American coinage composition began taking place. While the nickel itself did not switch to silver like dimes and quarters did earlier, 1964 still holds historical weight due to massive production numbers and heavy circulation during a time of economic transition. The 1964 5-cent coin features the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the third president of the United States, was chosen for the nickel because of his contributions to democracy and his role in shaping the nation. The portrait was designed by Felix Schlag, whose design won a national competition in the 1930s. Schlag's design became one of the longest-running portraits in U.S. coinage history, and the 1964 nickel still carries that classic and instantly recognizable look. On the reverse side of the 1964 nickel, you'll see Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's historic Virginia home. This architectural design is one of the most detailed ever used on a circulating U.S. coin. The steps of Monticello are particularly important to collectors because sharply defined steps can significantly increase the value of a coin. Coins with full steps are much rarer than regular strikes, especially from years with high production like 1964. In 1964, the United States Mint produced Jefferson nickels at 2 locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins minted in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, while coins struck in Denver feature a small D mint mark on the obverse, located to the right of Jefferson's portrait. Both mints produced enormous quantities of nickels in 1964, making this one of the highest mintage years in Jefferson nickel history. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion 1964 nickels, while the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions more. This massive production was driven by coin shortages caused by public hoarding during the early 1960s. Many Americans feared that coins would disappear from circulation due to rising silver prices, even though nickels themselves did not contain silver. As a result, the mint pushed production to record levels. The composition of the 1964 5-cent coin is 75% copper and 25% nickel, which has been the standard composition for Jefferson nickels since their introduction, except during World War II. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters. While it contains no precious metal, its value to collectors comes from condition, strike quality, and rare minting errors. Most circulated 1964 nickels are worth face value, but uncirculated examples can be worth significantly more. Coin that was saved early and never entered circulation often displays strong luster, sharp details, and minimal wear. These are the coins collectors actively search for today, especially when certified by professional grading services. One of the biggest value drivers for the 1964 Jefferson nickel is the presence of full steps on Monticello. Full steps refer to at least 5 or 6 clearly defined horizontal steps at the base of Monticello without interruptions. Due to worn dies and high-speed production, most 1964 nickels were weakly struck, making full steps examples relatively scarce. A 1964 nickel with full steps in high mint state condition can be worth many times more than a standard uncirculated coin. Minting errors are another reason the 1964 5-cent coin is highly collectible. Common errors include double dies, off-center strikes, clip planches, and die cracks. Some 1964 nickels show doubling in the lettering or date, while others feature dramatic misalignments that make them visually striking. These errors can increase value substantially, especially when they are clear and well-preserved. Another collectible variety includes die deterioration and repunched mint marks, particularly on Denver minted coins. During high production years, dies were often used longer than normal, leading to visible defects. Collectors actively hunt for these varieties because they add uniqueness to an otherwise common coin. Condition plays a critical role in determining the value of a 1964 nickel. Circulated coins with heavy wear are common and typically hold minimal premium. However, coins graded in higher mint state levels can command strong interest. Coins with original luster, clean surfaces, and strong strikes are especially desirable. Storage and preservation also matter. Coins that were kept in rolls, mint sets, or protective holders tend to survive in better condition. Environmental damage such as corrosion, scratches, or cleaning can significantly reduce value. Collectors always prefer original surfaces and natural toning. The 1964 5-cent coin remains popular among beginners and advanced collectors alike. For new collectors, it offers affordability and accessibility. For experienced collectors, it presents a challenge of finding top-grade examples and rarer varieties. This combination keeps demand strong year after year. From an investment perspective, while most 1964 nickels are not rare, select examples continue to appreciate over time. Coins with exceptional quality or unusual characteristics consistently outperform average specimens. As more coins are lost, damaged, or permanently circulated, the number of high-grade survivors continues to shrink. Another reason the 1964 nickel remains relevant is nostalgia. This coin circulated during a pivotal period in American history, marked by cultural change, economic growth, and the final years before coinage composition reforms. Holding a 1964 nickel is like holding a tangible piece of mid-20th century America. Collectors also appreciate the Jefferson nickel series because it spans multiple generations. Many people remember receiving these coins in change, making them emotionally meaningful as well as historically significant. The 1964 issue, in particular, stands out due to its record mintage and transitional era status. If you're searching your change, old jars, or inherited coin collections, always take a closer look at 1964 nickels. Check the mint mark, examine the steps on Monticello, and look closely for errors or unusual features. Even small details can make a big difference. The market for Jefferson nickels continues to grow as more collectors recognize the importance of quality over quantity. While millions were made, not all coins are created equal. The difference between an average coin and a standout example can be dramatic. In the end, the 1964 united whether you're a beginner just starting out or a seasoned collector hunting for the best examples. The 1964 Jefferson nickel deserves your attention. Stop for a moment before you spend or ignore a 5-cent coin from a United States dated 1974, because this small Jefferson nickel may be more important than most people realize. Millions of Americans have handled this coin, used it in daily transactions, or tossed it into jars without ever knowing the history, varieties, errors, and collector demand hiding behind its simple design. Today we are diving deep into the 1974 5-cent coin, also known as a Jefferson nickel. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly why this coin still matters, how to identify valuable examples, and what makes certain 1974 nickels worth far more than face value. The 1974 Jefferson nickel is part of one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. First introduced in 1938, the Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel and quickly became a symbol of American coinage. By 1974, the Jefferson nickel was already a familiar coin in circulation, but the economic conditions, minting changes, and production volume of that year created a fascinating story that collectors continue to study today. In 1974, the United States Mint produced Jefferson nickels at 2 different mint locations. These included the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time, and the Denver Mint, which struck coins marked with a small D on the reverse side. Both versions share the same basic design but differ in mintage numbers, strike quality, and collector interest. The obverse of the 1974 5-cent coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. His portrait was designed by Felix Schlag, whose initials appear discreetly on earlier versions of the coin. Jefferson's calm expression, tied hair, and classical profile represent stability and tradition, values that were especially meaningful during the economic uncertainty of the 1970s. The reverse of the coin displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home. The building is shown in clear architectural detail, with the word Monticello beneath it and the denomination 5 cents clearly visible. Above the building appears the phrase E pluribus unum, while United States of America arcs around the rim. This reverse design remained unchanged for decades, making the 1974 nickel part of a classic and recognizable series. The composition of the 1974 Jefferson nickel is 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a solid feel and a distinctive silver-gray appearance. Despite containing no silver, these coins were produced during a period when Americans were still adjusting to the disappearance of silver from circulating coinage. As a result, many people began paying closer attention to coins, setting aside unusual or high-quality examples. One of the most important factors affecting the value of a 1974 5-cent coin is its condition. Most 1974 nickels were heavily circulated and show signs of wear, including flattened details on Jefferson's hair, weak lettering, and reduced detail on Monticello. However, coins that escape heavy circulation and retain sharp details, original luster, and clean surfaces can be significantly more desirable to collectors. Another key factor is strike quality. Some 1974 nickels were struck weakly, especially on the steps of Monticello. Collectors closely examined these steps, looking for strong, uninterrupted lines that indicate a well-struck coin. Coins with clearly defined steps are often far more valuable than average examples, even if they share the same date and mint. Error coins are another exciting area of interest for the 1974 Jefferson nickel. Errors occur during the minting process and can include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clip planches, and misaligned designs. A 1974 nickel with a noticeable mint error can instantly become a standout piece in any collection and may command a premium price. Double die varieties are especially popular among collectors. These occur when the coin's design is accidentally doubled during the die creation process, resulting in visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. On a 1974 nickel, doubling may appear on the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." These varieties are often subtle, so careful examination is essential. Off-center strikes are another type of error that can increase value. These coins were not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. The more dramatic and visually appealing the off-center strike, the more interest it tends to generate among collectors. Die cracks and die breaks can also be found on some 1974 nickels. These appear as raised lines or lumps on the coin surface and result from cracks in the minting die. While minor cracks may have modest interest, larger or more dramatic die breaks can significantly enhance a coin's appeal. The 1974 5-cent coin also reflects a fascinating moment in American history. The mid-1970s were marked by inflation, rising metal prices, and growing public awareness of coin collecting. Many people began searching through pocket change, hoping to find coins worth more than face value. This renewed interest helped preserve higher quality examples of everyday coins like the 1974 nickel. Collectors today value the 1974 Jefferson nickel not only for its potential monetary worth, but also for its role in completing date and mint sets. Completing a full run of Jefferson nickels requires attention to subtle differences in strike quality, surface preservation, and variety identification, making the 1974 issues an important piece of the puzzle. If you are examining a 1974 nickel at home, start by checking the date and mint mark. Look closely at the surfaces for unusual features, strong details, or errors. Use good lighting and magnification to inspect Jefferson's hair, the lettering, and the steps of Monticello. Even small details can make a big difference. Storage also matters. If you believe you have a high-quality or unusual 1974 nickel, protect it from further damage by keeping it in a safe, dry environment. Avoid cleaning the coin, as improper cleaning can permanently reduce its value and collector appeal. Many collectors enjoy the 1974 Jefferson nickel because it is affordable, accessible, and rich in variety. Unlike rare gold or silver coins, this 5-cent piece allows collectors of all levels to participate in the hobby. Whether you are a beginner searching through pocket change or an experienced collector building a specialized set, the 1974 nickel offers something worth exploring. The enduring popularity of the Jefferson nickel series ensures ongoing interest in coins like the 1974 issue. As time passes and high-quality examples become harder to find, demand for well-preserved coins and interesting eras continues to grow. Most people have held this coin in their hands without ever realizing what they were touching. The 1969 5-cent coin looks ordinary, feels ordinary, and is still found in pocket change today. But what if I told you that some of these nickels are worth far more than 5 cents, and that the difference between an ordinary coin and a valuable one often comes down to details so small most people never check? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to identify the 1969 Jefferson nickel that collectors are actively searching for. The 1969 5-cent coin was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when the United States was producing massive quantities of circulating coinage. Demand for nickels was high, and the Mint responded by striking hundreds of millions of these coins. Because of this, many people assume the 1969 nickel has no value beyond face value. That assumption is exactly why valuable examples are still being overlooked today. On the front of the coin, you'll see Thomas Jefferson facing left. This portrait was designed by Felix Schlag and had already been in use for decades by 1969. The word liberty appears clearly, followed by the year 1969, while the phrase "In God We Trust" runs along the edge. At first glance, all 1969 nickels look the same, but this is where collectors slow down and start looking closer. Flip the coin over, and you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's historic home. Above it is the word Monticello, below it is a denomination 5 cents, and along the bottom edge, United States of America. To the right of Monticello, you'll find the small d mint mark, confirming it was struck in Denver. This reverse design is where some of the most important value clues are hiding. The 1969 nickel is made from a copper-nickel alloy containing no silver. It weighs 5 grams and measures just over 21 millimeters in diameter. Since there's no precious metal content, the value of this coin depends entirely on condition, strike quality, and the presence of errors or unusual features. This is where things get interesting. Most 1969 nickels you find today are heavily circulated. These coins show smooth surfaces, weak details, and dull color. In this condition, they are typically worth only face value. But the moment you move into higher quality examples, values begin to rise, and the jump can be dramatic if the coin has the right characteristics. One of the biggest value drivers for the 1969 Jefferson nickel is strike quality. During this period, many nickels were struck weakly, especially on the reverse. The steps of Monticello are often flat, blurry, or completely blended together. Collectors pay very close attention to these steps, because sharper steps mean a stronger strike and a more desirable coin. If you find a 1969 nickel with unusually clear step detail, that coin immediately deserves a closer look. Even partial step definition can increase collector interest. While sharply defined steps are extremely rare for this issue, coins that show better than average detail often stand out and command higher prices. Another reason collectors carefully inspect 1969 nickels is the possibility of mint errors. Error coins are one of the fastest ways an ordinary coin becomes valuable. Off-center strikes, clip planches, double strikes, and misaligned designs are all known to exist within this era of nickel production. Some 1969 nickels also display die cracks or die breaks. These appear as raised lines or bumps caused by damaged dies used during the minting process. Small die cracks are common, but large, dramatic cracks can significantly increase collector demand. The more visible and unusual the error, the more attention it receives. Doubling is another feature to watch closely. Some coins show doubling in the lettering, numbers, or design elements. While not every example of doubling adds value, true double features created during the minting process are always worth examining further. Many people mistake this for damage, which is why valuable coins sometimes slip through unnoticed. Mint mark variations are another subtle detail collectors look for. Even small differences in the shape, position, or appearance of a D-mint mark can make a coin more interesting. These details are easy to miss unless you know to look for them, which gives informed collectors a major advantage. Condition plays a huge role in value. Uncirculated 1969 D nickels with strong original luster and minimal marks are far scarcer than people expect. Even though millions were made, most entered circulation immediately and suffered decades of wear. Finding a truly clean example today is becoming more difficult every year. Eye appeal matters more than many people realize. Two coins with the same technical condition can have very different values if one simply looks better. Bright surfaces, even toning, and sharp details all contribute to desirability. Coins that stand out visually tend to attract more interest from collectors. The 1969 D nickel is also an essential part of Jefferson nickel collections. Collectors building complete date and mint mark sets need this coin, and many are willing to pay premiums for better examples. As more collectors enter the hobby, competition for high-quality coins continues to increase. Historical context also adds interest. This coin circulated during the late 1960s, a period of enormous change in the United States. Every 1969 D nickel tells a quiet story of everyday transactions during a time of social, cultural, and economic transformation. That connection to history is part of what makes collecting so appealing. If you're searching your own coins, start with a careful inspection under good lighting. Look at Jefferson's hair and jawline for sharpness. Examine the steps of Monticello closely. Check for unusual lines, doubling, or misaligned features. Even small details can make a big difference. Proper handling is critical. Avoid touching the surfaces with your fingers, as oils can permanently damage the coin. Store promising examples in protective holders to preserve their condition. A coin that stays well preserved today may become far more desirable in the future. Many people believe valuable coins are always old or made of precious metal. The 1969 D Jefferson nickel proves that knowledge is often more important than age. Understanding what to look for can turn an everyday coin into a meaningful collectible find. This is why experienced collectors never stop checking their change. Even common coins can surprise you when you know how to evaluate them properly. The excitement isn't just in the value, but in the discovery itself. So the next time you come across a 1969 D 5-cent coin, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a moment, look closely, and remember that some of the most interesting coins are hiding in plain sight. A simple nickel today could become a standout piece in a collection tomorrow. The 1979 United States 5-cent coin, better known as a Jefferson nickel, is a coin that many people pass by every day without realizing its significance. If you've ever emptied your pockets or looked through a jar of coins, chances are you've come across a 1979 nickel. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Today, we're diving deep into everything about the 1979 Jefferson nickel, its design, history, minting details, varieties, and what makes certain examples stand out from the rest. The Jefferson nickel has been part of American currency since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. By 1979, this coin had already become a familiar part of everyday life. On the front, or obverse, you'll see a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and a founding father. Jefferson's profile on this coin is more than a picture. It's a symbol of freedom, leadership, and American history. The design was created by Felix Schlag, whose artwork has graced the nickel for decades, making it instantly recognizable. Flip the coin over, and you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, perfectly detailed on the reverse. This iconic image represents Jefferson's life, his vision, and the era he helped shape. The coin also features the inscriptions Monticello, 5 cents, United States of America, and the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Every element on the coin has meaning, which is part of what makes collecting these nickels so fascinating. In 1979, the Jefferson nickel was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia do not have a mint mark. Coins from Denver carry a small D, and coins from San Francisco display an S. The San Francisco coins, in particular, were produced with special finishes and often had sharper details, making them particularly interesting to collectors. While most 1979 nickels were intended for circulation, the quality of strike and finish varies, which adds layers of interest for anyone studying these coins. This nickel is made from a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams and measuring just over 21 millimeters in diameter. These specifications are consistent with nickels of this era and are important to know when identifying subtle differences or anomalies. While millions of 1979 nickels were produced, condition and unique features can make some examples far more appealing than others. One key aspect collectors look at is the coin's condition. Circulated coins show wear, scratches, or discoloration, but nickels that were handled less or saved in better condition often show crisp details in Jefferson's profile and Monticello's architecture. These sharper, cleaner coins are naturally more eye-catching and interesting to study. Even small differences in the clarity of the design or lettering can make a coin stand out in a collection. Errors and varieties make the 1979 nickel even more captivating. During minting, mistakes like off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, or clip planches occasionally occurred. These errors are not flaws. They are part of the coin's story and often draw significant attention. Some coins show double features in the date, lettering, or Jefferson's profile, making them unique. Careful observation with a magnifying glass can reveal these fascinating details, and they often keep viewers engaged when studying the coin. The mint mark is another area of interest. Coins with unusual, weak, or misaligned mint marks are worth noting because they differ from the standard strikes. These subtle details create layers of discovery, which keeps collectors and viewers engaged longer as they search for differences and rare examples. San Francisco minted nickels from 1979 often stand out due to higher quality strikes and reflective surfaces. While not necessarily rare, these coins display excellent detail and finish, showing what careful minting can achieve. Observing the differences between circulation coins and higher quality strikes provides valuable insight and keeps anyone interested in coins looking closer. Historical context also plays a role in the nickel story. The late 1970s were a period of economic change in the United States, marked by rising prices and heavy coin circulation. Coins from this era were handled frequently, so finding a well-preserved 1979 nickel today can feel like discovering a small piece of history in your hands. Each coin carries its own story from that time, which makes studying them exciting and engaging for viewers. For anyone just starting with coin collecting, the 1979 Jefferson nickel is a perfect example. It's affordable, widely available, and offers an opportunity to learn about mint marks, strikes, errors, and the overall history of coin. Even if a coin is common, the process of examining it closely and spotting unique characteristics is rewarding, and it encourages viewers to keep watching and learning. So, next time you come across a 1979 nickel, take a closer look. Study Jefferson's portrait, Monticello, and the inscriptions. Check the mint mark and the overall condition. You might notice something unusual, like an error or a subtle variety that makes your coin stand out. The 1979 Jefferson nickel may seem ordinary, but it holds more depth than most people realize, making it a fascinating coin to explore, study, and appreciate. In summary, the 1979 United States 5-cent coin combines rich history, meaningful design, and hidden details that make it a coin worth examining closely. Whether you're a casual coin enthusiast or someone who loves uncovering small treasures in everyday change, the 1979 Jefferson nickel offers endless opportunities to discover something new. It's a small coin with a big story, and paying attention to the details can make the ordinary truly extraordinary. If you love uncovering hidden stories behind coins, learning about varieties, and discovering small treasures in everyday change, keep exploring. Every coin has a story, and sometimes the most common ones hold the most secrets. You love rare coins, historical insights, and the thrill of collecting. You're in the right place. Make sure to stay with us until the end because we're going to uncover details about this coin that many collectors often overlook. The Jefferson nickel, introduced in 1938, has become a staple in American coinage. By the time we get to 1975, the Jefferson nickel had a rich history, and the D Mint mark tells a story of production at the Denver Mint. Understanding the 1975 D nickel is not just about identifying a coin. It's about connecting with decades of American history and craftsmanship. In 1975, the United States was in a time of change. Inflation, economic shifts, and cultural transformations marked the era. Coins from this period, including the 1975D nickel, carry not just monetary value but a piece of that historical narrative. The nickel itself features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, a design by Felix Schlag that has remained largely consistent over the decades. On the reverse, the Monticello design highlights Jefferson's home, emphasizing the enduring connection to American heritage. Collectors often ask why the 1975D nickel is significant. One reason is its mintage numbers. In 1975, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels, but variations in strike quality, circulation, and preservation make certain coins stand out. Coins that are well preserved, with minimal wear and clear details on Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, attract attention from serious collectors. Another point of interest is the composition of the coin. The 1975D nickel is made from 75% copper and 25% nickel, a combination that has been standard for Jefferson nickels since 1946. This alloy gives the coin its distinctive color, durability, and weight. Even minor differences in color and toning can make a coin more appealing for collectors. Over time, exposure to air and handling can create unique patinas, enhancing the coin's aesthetic and historical value. Now, let's talk about some common errors and varieties that appear in the 1975D nickel. While the coin is not known for extremely rare errors, there are subtle variations in strike quality, including weak details on Monticello or Jefferson's profile. Coins with sharper details or unique toning can be more desirable for collectors. Knowing what to look for can transform your collection from ordinary to remarkable. One of the most interesting aspects of collecting the 1975D nickel is its place in the Jefferson nickel series. Series collectors aim to gather every coin from every year and mint mark. The 1975D is a must-have for anyone pursuing a complete Jefferson nickel collection. Its inclusion helps complete the story of American coinage in the 1970s. The 1975D nickel also tells a story about circulation patterns. Many of these coins were used daily in vending machines, buses, and stores. Over the decades, some were lost or tucked away in jars, wallets, and coin rolls. Finding a nickel in near-mint condition decades later is like discovering a small piece of history preserved by time. For collectors today, the 1975D Jefferson nickel offers a unique opportunity. While it may not be as rare as older nickels from the 1930s or 1940s, its value comes from condition, series completion, and historical interest. Coins with sharp details, original luster, and minimal wear are particularly prized. Paying attention to these factors ensures you get the best example for your collection. It's also fascinating to consider the economic context of the 1970s. The United States was adjusting to changes in coin demand, and the Denver Mint had to produce large quantities efficiently. This meant that while many nickels circulated widely, coins that were preserved in high-quality condition are more sought after today. Collectors who understand this context gain a deeper appreciation for the 1975D nickel. Let's not forget about toning and patina, which are natural processes that occur over decades. Many 1975D nickels have developed a soft, attractive patina that can enhance their visual appeal. Some collectors even seek coins with subtle golden or reddish hues, which can make a coin stand out in a collection. Another aspect worth discussing is the importance of handling and storage. Coins like the 1975D nickel should be kept in protective holders, away from moisture and excessive handling. Proper care preserves the coin's details, color, and overall value. Even small scratches or fingerprints can affect how a coin is perceived by collectors and enthusiasts. For those building a Jefferson nickel collection, the 1975D is a foundational coin. Its availability, combined with historical significance, makes it ideal for beginners and advanced collectors alike. Learning to spot details, understand mint marks, and evaluate condition on coins like this will prepare collectors for rarer and more valuable pieces in the series. Now, let's explore some tips for collectors seeking 1975D nickels. Always examine the coin closely for wear on Jefferson's hair, cheek, and Monticello details. Look for coins with minimal scratches and a bright, natural luster. Coins tucked away in old chain jars or rolls sometimes reveal surprisingly high-quality examples. Patience and careful observation are key to finding hidden gems. Finally, the 1975D Jefferson nickel is more than just a coin. It's a piece of American heritage. Each nickel carries a story of the Denver Mint, the 1970s economy, and the enduring legacy of Thomas Jefferson. Collectors treasure these coins not just for their monetary value, but for their connection to history and the joy of completing a series. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting, the 1975 D Jefferson nickel is a fascinating coin to explore, evaluate, and preserve. Its combination of historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and collectible potential makes it a standout in the Jefferson nickel series. Take the time to study its details, appreciate its toning, and enjoy the thrill of discovering coins that have survived decades of circulation. If you love learning about coins like the 1975 D Jefferson nickel, make sure to check out other videos where we explore nickels from every era, including rare varieties and historical highlights. Understanding the history behind each coin adds depth to your collection and makes every discovery more meaningful. By taking the time to explore coins like the 1975 D nickel, collectors develop a deeper appreciation for American coinage, history, and craftsmanship. Remember, every coin tells a story, and the 1975 D Jefferson nickel is no exception. From the Denver Mint to your collection, it carries decades of American history in your hand. So, whether you're hunting for the perfect addition to your Jefferson nickel collection or simply love learning about American coins, the 1975 D Jefferson nickel offers insight, beauty, and history all in one small 5-cent coin. Stay curious, examine closely, and enjoy every discovery.